So this is a video about a JavaScript based game I wrote back in 2011, I think it was, so quite a while ago. And it was after I found a piece of code online that showed how to use a sprite sheet with a canvas in the browser to, well, kind of create your own animations really. So I took that idea and ran with it and made this game engine you can see running in front of you. So there's a user controllable sprite here. You can see I'm moving left and right, I can jump, I can shoot, and all the rest of the sprites there are computer driven. They're just randomly wandering around doing their own thing. You can see each of them has a health meter above it. The idea there is that they would fight each other and you could kill the other players. You can see there's some particle effects here where my weapon's fire is colliding with something. If I restart this, there you go. You can see it's got sound now, that's kicked in, sound effects making a lot of noise. And there is collision detection, so I can land on certain surfaces. The collision map here isn't quite right, which is why I don't seem to stand quite on all the places or colliding all of them, but that's where I got to. I'm just going to turn off sound here because it makes a hell of a noise. There you go, so I got quite far with it really. It's got a scrolling viewport, so as I move around the screen follows me. Collision detection does work, although as you can see it's not super accurate because I'm not standing on all the areas I should be. We've got weapons fire, got the particle effects, so it's quite advanced, but I really just ran out of time over the Christmas holidays. I was working on this. The JavaScript code for this is quite old and creaky now because it's back from 2011 when we didn't have half as many of the features in JavaScript as there are now. But the idea is that it uses these sprite sheets and then it carves up each of these to get the individual frames of animation. So you can see we've got Commander Keen here, and all those animation sprites are used for walking, jumping, shooting. This is back in the jQuery era, so we got some jQuery there referenced. I can't remember what that does. Buzz is used there for the audio playback. There's an assets file, and that just lists all the individual sprite sheets, the frames of animation, and where they are on that sprite sheet. The data map, I think this is all to do with loading the background image you see there, and also working out collision. So there's a collision map, which is just an image file which maps the areas can be collided with. So if we have a look over here, there we go. So there's the background file here for a level 4 Commander Keen. If I change it to the collision map, this defines which areas can be collided with. So I think I've done the same here for this large map, yeah. Then if we go to that, so you can see it looks fairly accurate, but yeah, I obviously hadn't quite finished that because it's a little off. What else we got here? The engine file, so I think this is the heart of things. Here we go, so it creates arrays for all the different sprites and their particles. It uses canvas here to draw it on the screen. And then I was experimenting here with real-time lighting, so I think that's some kind of overlay there. And then we've got the main game loop, which loops around, animates particles, removes dead particles. Yeah, it's all fairly self-explanatory. Next we got foreground. Not sure that's about, something to do with sprite lighting. I'm not sure if this works or not, this lighting. We got particles here, so maybe that did work. Particles, that was a lot of fun to do, just having lots of little pixels which have gravity which affects them. Projectile, so weapons fire. Sprites, so anything that moves around really. And then a little utility class here. So I'm going to upload this source code so anyone can have a poke with it. It's really only of interest for historical purposes. I mean, you could write a much better game engine now using much more modern techniques in JavaScript, but this was a lot of fun for a little Christmas project back in the day to make something which worked. Had plans to add multiplayer elements to this. Never really got that far. Destructible terrain is something I really wanted because I always loved that kind of stuff in Worms, but again, didn't quite get that far, ran out of time. So maybe one day I'll come back to this, although by then it's probably worth rewriting it all from scratch. But anyway, maybe you get a kick out of this.